Hey everybody, welcome to the Real United States, and it is anniversary time once again. Today, at least the day that this is airing, is our 6th anniversary here on YouTube, and it's been a wild ride, that's for sure, which has taken us all around the eastern part of the country. And the last year, of course, as most of you know, has been something of a personal struggle for the two of us because just before our 5th anniversary, I went through cancer surgery. That was in late August, and then we did our 5th anniversary episode, and 2 months had passed since my surgery, and I was able to speak relatively clearly. Well, after that, I had radiation, and the radiation has done some unfortunate things to my face in terms of pulling up the scar tissue, and so it has become actually harder for me to speak in the last year, but we're going to do the best that we can because life is what it is, folks. And maybe next year it'll be better. Maybe next year I won't be able to talk at all and I'll be doing sign language. Starting to learn it already. Anyway, and that is one of the things that Beverly has had to put up with in this, what was our 6th year, was having to learn a little bit of sign language.
We're trying to learn sign language so that we can communicate easier, especially when he has to take his obturator out and clean it, because then he can't hardly speak at all. And so we're trying to learn sign language so we can communicate better.
Yeah, and we're not talking like, although we do use it sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. It's happy anniversary time, folks. I'm glad we survived. I think that both Bev and I figured that 6 years ago that by now we would have built a larger community, but the important part is we've built a very nice community here on YouTube, and that is something that I think we are eternally grateful for.
Yeah, I think the fact that the community is a nice community is far more important than the size of the community at this point.
Yeah. It's been wonderful having all of you with us as we try to continue, showing you the real United States. And by real United States, certainly it's the way we see the country. It's through our eyes. That's about as real as you can get. Anyway, one of the things that we have historically done, and we're going to do again this year, is favorite episode and least favorite episode. And you want me to go first? Or you want to go first?
I want you to go first.
She wants me to go first. All right. Well, it wasn't terribly hard to come up with my least favorite episode in the last year. And that was actually there was 2 of them, a little bit apart, but they were the facial reconstruction episodes where they did this to me. They took this piece out of my head and shoved it in the hole of my nose and stitched it in the roof of my mouth. And the first episode on facial reconstruction, where I'm all bandaged up, that one was hard to do. And the one just shortly afterwards, where I got the bandages off, and there's this big, what we came to lovingly call a face leech, coming down and going in the hole before the takedown surgery that came afterwards. That was a tough one for me, folks. I don't, no one wants to be horribly disfigured and then get on camera in front of the entire world. It's difficult. So that was not fun for me. Hopefully I made it as painless as possible for you. My favorite episode of the year, by far, was very easy for me also to pick out. And that was the Jefferson Memorial. When we did it in the middle of the night, we got to see it. As Bev mentioned, the way most people don't get to see it, and that is empty, without hundreds of people crowded around it, because it's a very impressive and very popular venue. So it was nice to see it at such early hours in the morning. Well, one, because that's a very pretty time to see it, but mostly because we got to have it almost entirely to ourselves. So that was very, very nice. It was a very comfortable
Yeah.
temperature that day. I don't know why, but it was very pleasant out. And I really enjoyed that. Of course, I always enjoy going to the Jefferson Memorial anyway. I enjoy Beverly. I was going to the tidal basin. It's just such an iconic part of downtown D.C. and
Yeah.
Americana in general.
It was really nice to see it and to experience it at that hour of the morning. For me, especially because usually when I'm in the tidal basin, it's during the day and it's well packed with people because, well, that's just what it is in DC. And to be able to be there and actually experience the monument itself without being pushed around by crowds of people, it was really nice. It brought a whole new meaning to the monument for me.
Yeah, and it's the first time I've realized the magnitude of the statue of Jefferson. That thing is gigantic. I mean, it is huge. I mean, I always thought the Lincoln Memorial and the Lincoln statue that's carved out of stone was big, but the Jefferson statue is no slouch. It is ginormous. So that was a lot of fun for us. It was just a very, very fun thing to do.
And somehow it looks bigger when there's not 100 to 200 to 500 people standing around it. When you're there alone with it, it grows. It's amazing.
Yeah, it somehow it seems larger. And I had always thought that we were going to end up doing that episode in the middle of the night because of the popularity of it. But I somehow thought we'd end up doing it in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night, which in D.C. can be relatively unpleasant because it gets cold here. So we got very lucky because it was very nice out that evening, and that I had a riot doing that. So,
I had a good time doing that too.
So how about you, best and worst?
My most favorite episode for me was the one that we did about our black raspberries. It sounds a little hokey, but it's because the raspberry plants have multiplied and we actually had enough to make jam. And it was amazing to see how much they had grown and multiplied. And it was nice to know that we had that now, because when we left the house to come to DC, we only had a very few plants and there wasn't enough to do anything with other than pick them and freeze them until you got enough for a meal.
I don't think we ever got back with everybody about all that. We made 2 batches of raspberry jam, so we ended up with something on the order of about 16 or 18 half-pint jars of black raspberry jam, which is
his favorite.
Probably one of my most favorite tastes on this planet is black raspberry jam. So we got quite a few jars of it. What y'all don't know, and I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, that we got into kind of a jelly and jam making kick there for about 2 weeks. And in that course of that time...
Yeah, boy, howdy did we have a big party.
Yeah, we put up 90 jars of jam in the course of about 2 weeks. And
during all that time, all the fresh fruit was coming in, the produce was coming into the stores in the area, and everything was very well priced, and it was just starting to come in, so we got the best produce we could get, enough to make a batch of jam of the different flavors that we made, and they all turned out very nicely. We were very pleased with all of it.
Yeah, we got enough jam to last us for probably the rest of our lives. So anyway, what about your least favorite episode?
My least favorite episode has to be the first surgery episode where you're all bandaged up. Not because you're all bandaged up, and not because I didn't understand why the surgery had to be done, but I know what it looked like underneath the bandages.
You're talking about the reconstruction surgery.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
the reconstruction surgery.
Yeah, that was a tough one for both of us.
That was tough because I know what it looked like underneath the bandages, and we didn't show you guys a lot of that because let's just say it was not something that you want to show everybody because it's just not pretty.
Well, yeah, and being demonetized by YouTube is not exactly the most fun in the world.
No, we didn't need to be doing that.
So yeah, we've had some struggles.
Yeah, there's been a couple of tough episodes this year. There's been some struggles where obviously he's still healing from all the cancer surgery and everything, but we're trying to get him better. We're doing everything we can.
I think the interesting takeaway here is you'll notice that every year we each have an episode that was our least favorite. Now sometimes that means maybe it just wasn't as much fun as other episodes. And sometimes it means it was really god awful to make it. Certainly, I can remember from this one was pretty god awful. The one from last year where I had to announce I had cancer, that was pretty god awful. The one from several years ago where we went to Ludington, Michigan to do the Pierre Marquette thing, that was god awful. I mean, we were successful. We made the video. I think it turned out nice. But the making of the video...
Yeah, you weren't there for the ride to get there and to get home on the roads. We almost got killed a couple of times.
Yeah, that was a god-awful day. And so, we love making video, but there are times where everything just goes wrong. And when you're all done with it, you go, that was not fun. I did not enjoy that episode. I mean, I'm glad the episode turned out nice, but the process I didn't enjoy. So that's going to happen probably every year. We're going to have something that it's not just that we didn't enjoy it as much, but we didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah. Fortunately, even the videos that we don't enjoy, by the time that this guy over here does all the editing and the sound correction and everything, they turn out to be nice videos. It's just in the process of making them, this may not have turned out like we thought it was gonna.
Yeah. This year has been, and I'm sure you've all noticed, there hasn't been as much content as there was the previous year, or the year before that maybe. This year it's been much harder for us to get out and make video, obviously because things related to my health. Either that or, the care of going to the doctors and dentists and all these things you only got so many hours in the week, and I still have to work and earn a living, which I do, and so there's been too many demands on us to do as much as we wanted. We're trying to get back at it. I don't know if you've noticed in the last couple of months that we've been trying to make sure there's a video up every Monday. So we're trying to get back in the swing of it, of course, yet an additional episode or two during the week. This past week, of course, we had the Monday episode, and then we had two additional episodes, the lost footage one and then the truck parade before that. So we're trying to get more material. It's not always easy as we would like it to be. Sometimes you just don't feel well,
Yeah.
You push yourself as much as you can, but sometimes you only do what you can do. But I'm hoping that the 2019 in our seventh season that
I'm hoping we're gonna
do more,
feel better, and we're gonna do more, and we're gonna get out and do some of the things that we still want to do. We still have a list of things that we want to do. We haven't run out of material. Mostly we've just run out of time and energy and had other commitments to deal with.
It's also been a timing issue thing, when it's like, oh, okay, it's Saturday, I'm off work, and we don't have any doctor's appointments, we can go, oh yeah, but the weather's god awful, it's raining, or it's cloudy, or there's some other event in the area that's, there's going to be 500,000 people there, so you can't get there to video what you wanted to video. So sometimes I'm not making excuses, I'm just telling you what happens. We try to find an alternative subjects that we can, present, and without steering too far off course.
Yeah.
So I think in the coming year that we're both hoping to get back out on the road some more. We've talked about some very grandiose plans about traveling a little bit and whatnot. It's a matter of figuring out how to finance those, having the time and the money to do them. So we certainly would like to. At any rate, I don't know. Was there other things you wanted to talk about for the 6th season?
The 6th season, I enjoyed all the videos that we made. Well, except the surgery ones, but nobody enjoys surgery, so I'm not alone there. But I enjoyed the videos that we did make. I especially enjoyed a lot of the cooking videos that we made because of his cancer surgery and stuff and the way he eats now. He eats a lot differently. So we're relearning how to cook foods basically to keep us fed. And it's been a challenge, but I think we're coming out on top and we're figuring it out. And so we come up with something that we have come up with that tastes really good to us. We like to share it with everybody because you never know when somebody else might like our new taste treat.
Now, if you've stuck with us this far into the video, thank you. And I'd like to tell you that I do have one new idea that I've been contemplating, working on, and that was doing something which is truly Americana, and that would be a sort of a sit-down discussion like this about this day in history. So, in future episodes, we would have an episode about what had happened on that day 40 or 50 years ago. And the reason being is because, well, as much as I hate to admit it, Beverly and I are old enough now that we can remember the events that transpired 50 years ago. So, for example, just a week or so ago was the 50th anniversary of the first live television broadcast from space. Was the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo? Am I getting close? I don't know.
I think you said it was Apollo.
No. I'm pretty sure it was Gemini 7. But, you can leave in the comments and tell me what an idiot I am. Anyway, fun is that happened in October of 1968, which was 50 years ago. And although the memories are vague, I do remember seeing these things. And 69, which will be the 50th anniversary in 2019, has a whole bunch of stuff that most of you either remember or, even if you're younger, certainly have heard about. The moon landing was a biggie. And so we got some biggies coming up here just in the next week or two from 68 that have been the 50th anniversary. A lot of 40th anniversary stuff from 1978, 79, where we were adults. I know, it's so sad. But we were thinking about doing an episode where we would talk about these events, their historical significance, and celebrate their anniversaries. And I guess this comes to mind because we're celebrating our 6th anniversary. If you got a particular reaction to that idea, let me know in the comments section down below. If you hate it, I'd really like to know. If you love it, I'd like to know also. But if you find the idea is like, no, well, tell me. It doesn't mean I won't do it, but it may influence my judgment. But, these are events that have happened in American history, and since this is the real United States, I think reflecting, maybe once a week or maybe once every other week or even once a month we do an episode, not a regular episode, it would be like a midweek episode, about the 40th or 50th anniversary of some great event. So I'd like to know what you think about that. We have been toying with the idea, or I guess I say I have been, because I have not really discussed this with Beverly, of starting a Patreon account. And what we would do is we would make bonus content, which would be like entirely separate videos that would be available to patrons. I don't know. It still seems a little too soon. We haven't quite hit 4,500 subs yet, and I was hoping to get to 5K at least before we started. But if you've got feelings or thoughts about us starting a Patreon, I'd love to hear them. Feedback is very important to me, so it's something I'm thinking about that. And it would kind of motivate me to make a whole bunch more video, because I'd want to supply videos to patrons. And boy, am I going to get my ass chewed when we get off camera, because she's going to be like, what are you talking about?
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
Honestly, she wouldn't. I don't know, anything else you want to add, dear?
The only thing I would like to add is to say thank you to everybody for staying with us. I'm glad you're still here. I know that our content has changed a little bit due to health reasons and other things that have had to be taken care of, but the name of the channel is The Real United States, and I'm sorry guys, but that's what's been happening with us. So I'd like to say thank you for sticking with us, and we're hoping to get back out there and do more things.
Yeah, and here real soon, by the way, just by way of information, doesn't really have anything to do with the episode, is I'll be going in for more reconstructive surgery to this eye, so I won't have this googly eye anymore. So you can expect probably a video. I'll shoot some closer up before footage and maybe some post-surgery, and then some more footage after it's had time to heal, so we can do a whole episode about what the ophthalmologist is going to do to my face. So I'll be looking a little different to you soon, within the next month. And I guess that's it. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined us, who has been so supportive and so friendly. For those of you who have been here for years, like from the beginning, and yes, we have a number of friends that have been here almost from day one. Thank you so much for your friendship and your continued tolerance of our rather eclectic channel. You are deeply, deeply appreciated, and it's a heartfelt thank you to everyone. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you. Thank you for believing in us. If you don't watch every episode, that's okay. It's just nice to have you with us. And to occasionally tune in, see what we're up to, leave a comment. It's always good to hear from everybody. So thank you, everyone. And if you got questions or comments about this episode, please leave them in the comment section down below. We love hearing from all of you. We really do. And I do try to get back to everybody I can. If you're new here, hey, we made it 6 years. That's pretty good on YouTube. And thanks for joining us. Please consider clicking subscribe. Go along for the adventure. We got lots more to show you. As always, folks, thank you for watching.